Alright. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. We got a highlight match here from the Afreeca Champions Cup qualifier. And apparently was a banger. Maru in the bottom right side, playing Terran up against Oliveira in the top left. And I cannot wait to see what goes on, because there is such emotion every time when we see this matchup. We all remember Maru's famous interview, for Pigstarcraft Festival, when he did get revenge on Oliveira, and we said, it must feel good every time you get revenge on him for stealing your world championship, for beating you quite dominantly as well in that grand finals. And he said, yeah, I mean, honestly, I can beat him as 1,000 times over, and it'll just make me feel worse. It doesn't feel good. I don't feel vindicated. It just reminds me of the fact that I let it slip away, and I should have won it, and I could have won it if I played my best. And we're like, oh my god, this is heartbreaking. And obviously, it's like a bit awkward with the translations, but he said, I don't have anything against Oliveira, but I hate playing him. I hate running into him in tournaments, because every time we play, it's just a reminder of the opportunity I missed. And it's like, oh my god, that's heartbreaking, but also incredible to hear Maru open up about that. And since then, he has been very dominant versus Oliveira. I mean, I believe there was that WTL match we cast where he did really good. I think he 2-0'd Oliveira in the earlier stage. And then they still put Oliveira out for the ace match, and Oliveira actually beat him in the ace match and ended up winning it for his team. So it was kind of one of these things where it's like, damn it, Maru wins 2 maps, only loses 1, but his team still loses. And it's like, even just those occasional victories that Oliveira still has versus Maru, you can tell are very frustrating for the champion of Terran. Maru, one of the greatest players of all time, definitely the greatest Terran player, or the greatest GSL player, the greatest Korean player on domestic soil. But he struggled historically overseas. This, though, an online qualifier, something where he can perform his best in the comfort of his own home. Oliveira comes in with the first scout, sacrificing a Hellion to confirm what the opening is. Sees multiple Hellions out of Maru, so he knows it's going to be a pretty mirrored situation. And he's actually going to try and sneak Reapers across the map. No. I was like, that'd be pretty brave, because if you leave a Cyclone with just 2 Marines to help defend it, a big Reaper Hellion push could punish you. Maru going for a super fast 3-minute 33rd command center. Oh man, strap in for a macro game, ladies and gentlemen. Maru wants to go for that big boy economy. He's hunting for Reapers right now. He knows that Oliveira sometimes likes to hide the Reapers, wait for Maru to move on the map, and then jump in and backstab him. Maru's not taking any chances with that. Now starts a Cyclone, Raven coming in as well. And you're going to see the 3rd command center has not started for Oliveira. The difference is Oliveira is a little quicker into unit production. He's going for a 2nd medevac? What is this build order from Oliveira? He's going for a 4 Marine Cyclone drop, and he's going to go for another 4 Marine Cyclone drop. Oliveira is going to go for double medevac pressure. This is a Beyond-esque build. Ooh, I am very excited to see how this one goes, because Maru usually is the player who shuts down Beyond's builds. Let's be real. If he doesn't get caught off guard, if Maru just plays that full turtle style, if he realizes what's happening, he'll be good. The problem for Maru, of course, is the lack of scouting. He doesn't know about these medevacs coming forwards on the map. He's only now sending a Reaper to go start probing across, seeing if he can get some information. And the Cyclone Marine actually seems to be grouping up. Is he going to just drop the main with 8 Marines, 2 Cyclones, and 2 Reapers? This is a really unique pressure, but it's very mobile for Oliveira. It definitely has some potential. Maru's tank looks like it is going to siege in the main, or actually it's just trapped in the main because his depot isn't lowered. So it's kind of derping around right now. The Reapers get jumped on. One of them goes down. Another one goes down. One of the medevacs gets locked on, though. Nice defense by Maru so far, but the medevac barely gets away in time. The Cyclones pull back to safety for Oliveira. Doesn't quite take out Maru's Cyclone, though. Time to leave with that medevac. I think it's time for Oliveira to get out of here. This is done and dusted at this stage. He's staying way too long. Oh my god, he somehow saves both medevacs and a Cyclone. That's actually a really good trade. He got 2. Wait, I thought he only got 1 Raven. He got 2 Raven kills? Whoa, that's an amazing fight for Oliveira. Wow, that really worked out in his favor. He didn't kill a lot of SCVs, and there's a 3rd command center up, so obviously he's behind in economy, but killing the opponent's Ravens while still building your own Ravens, even though they're very delayed, you're actually going to be ahead on the Raven energy. And Maru's the one who's back on just basic units. He's got 4 Marines and a siege tank. Actually, his unit count is so low. He's kind of done this greedy quick 2nd and 3rd barracks. And if Oliveira kept pushing, he could have killed him. If Oliveira just walked these tanks across the map, busted the bunker, he could get a siege up on that command center, just because There's nothing but a few unupgraded Marines and a tank. He's trying to go very quick double upgrades. Maru still is in a dangerous spot. And with 2 Ravens and 2 Medevacs going for the drop in the main, this siege tank is the one thing standing in the way of him taking massive damage to this next wave. It's a very scary situation. He sees the 3rd command center coming up. He sees the 2nd and 3rd barracks is way behind for Oliveira. Looks like that Cyclone just cleaned up a scout on his side of the map as well. Maru seems to be aware that this is a threat, though. He's got a lot of Marines in the main. He's reasonably well positioned. Oliveira might just have to back off. Ooh, that tank getting some big shots off. We said that tank would be huge in this fight, and it was. But Oliveira's still got a siege tank in range right now. And Maru... Oh, Oliveira didn't retarget his siege tank, so his siege tank actually shot the Marine rather than the enemy tank. You always want to target their siege tank. Otherwise, that happens where Maru survives on 3 hit points. The Vikings chase off the Medevacs. The Ravens are both getting shot down. Cyclone's going to try and at least get one of the Vikings, which it will, but... Or at least damage it. I mean, is it even worth a scan? I guess it's okay to kill a Viking. That there was a very good hold for Maru. Very necessary. He lost a few workers, but he's down only 4 because of that quicker 3rd command center. And remember, his upgrades are ahead. He's got 1-1 almost finished. He's got stim done. Combat shields on the way. His 5 barracks are up and pumping. 4th and 5th barracks is now coming up for Oliveira. So it's a very even game after this, but Oliveira feels a little more confident and in control. So he takes the 4th base. It's been him on Maru's side of the map for a while. Yeah, it's interesting to see some people say, like, you know, horrid mentality. I can't believe Maru said that. I think Maru was just being very brutally honest and open, and I don't think we should ever try to punish pro gamers or sports people of any background, StarCraft or otherwise, for just speaking honestly. I think sometimes people want the super diplomatic answer, but I love it when a player just, you know, shows their true self and isn't afraid to say something that sounds a little harsh, but gives you a bit more of a deeper insight into their mentality. So I love the way Maru shared what he said about hating playing Oliveira. He didn't say he hates Oliveira. He just said that it hurts. Basically, he was expressing that it sucks because it's painful, and it's a reminder of what he missed. And it's also something where he said he doesn't know if there's going to be, he was like, I don't know if there'll be another championship as big as that. Like, you know, will the next world championship be as big as that one? I'm not sure if that's going to ever happen again. He said, you know, there'll be world championships, there'll be tournaments, but that was such a big stage in Katowice. I still think he's got many chances to get a world championship under his shoulders, on his back. But, oh, Oliveira's out of position. There we go. Good D. Stabilized now. The quick 4th base, does Maru know about it? He doesn't know. That's definitely pretty nice. Oliveira's trying to catch the drop. Does he have any Vikings? He's got a... sorry, we're looking for blue Vikings. No, they're building right now, but he's not able to trap Maru's drop. Maru playing very safe, putting some more Marines out there. So far, let's look at the Viking count. Maru's on 3 Vikings, only 2 Medevacs. So he actually doesn't have a lot of healing for his Marine production in this game. He's also down about 20 Marines, but up 2 siege tanks. So Maru is already heading towards a more static style of TvT. Heavy tanks use the Vikings for air control, and the Marines are more of a supporting unit. Oliveira, on the other hand, has gone Medevacs. 4 Medevacs. He's only built 2 Vikings. He's got a much bigger Marine count, up 25 Marines. So it's more likely for Oliveira to pick all of his tanks into the Medevacs, boost in, unload the siege tanks, and try to deny his 3rd base. Start dropping around the back with the Marines, looking for ways in. Remember, on this map, even with turrets ringing the main, you can still boost down. There's so much dead space on the end. You can get around there. So Maru actually should probably build a turret back here as well. Big army on the south. This is what I was talking about. Yeah, and he's outside his sensor tower vision. Notice he groups up outside his sensor tower vision. I would love the tank pickup here. I think the tank pickup on this map is such a good move because Gressman's got some big spaces to cover. He scans, he stims, he's just going to run in and overwhelm the front tank. Does he go deeper? Oh, Oliveira pushing hard right now. He gets 2 more tanks. Oh my god, but he goes a bit deep. He gets another tank, but it costs him a lot of Marines. Oh my lord. The last tank that he went for was way too much. I think the previous, up until the last siege tank, if he pulled back, it would have been great. But going forward there, he took some absolute wallops to the face on that Marine count. You can see there, it's a denial on the location, so it's still okay for slowing down Maru's income. Maru's got a 4th. Maru's building a 5th. Maru's got the Vikings. You can't keep scanning this forever. The Liberator's going to get stimmed down, but Maru then says, hey, I've got the Marine advantage. You haven't reinforced here. breaks that position. Overall, very good fights for Maru. He's ahead 1,000 resources in the units lost. There's no 5th base up for Oliveira yet. You can see he's already transferring workers to that 5th. Very mineral-focused play. Hasn't taken the 7th and 8th gases, and he's got a quicker 3-3 now. Going to 8 barracks, 2 factories, pumping siege tanks for him. And Maru's going to start the Raven transition. Now, this is something Maru's been doing a lot more recently in this matchup, is not going for the Iron Bank until really late. He'll actually go Ravens before building Mass Command Center. And that means he doesn't have that giant economy we're used to seeing where he can drop 50 mules and come back from any damage. It's going to be a Maru that's looking for the tech first, and then the economy only in like the 20 to 30 minute mark of the game. And that definitely means he's in a more fragile spot. It also means he's going to have less scans. So watch for the double tech lab, I would assume, going down there. It could be double reactor, but unlike Maru to go for that so early, and indeed it is the double tech lab for the Ravens. If you go double reactor, you're going to go Viking lib. Crazy push for Oliveira! Is this correct? Oh my lord. He busts through the front line of tanks. He gets 3 tanks. If he can get that one on the bottom, and he will. Oh my god, he's going to deny this base. He's going to deny this base location. Oliveira is just showing reckless abandon right now. His pushes are insane. Command Center does lift and repair. It stays alive for now. The siege tanks are fighting. The Liberator coming in. The Marines and the tanks have to pull back. Oliveira, good choice to get out of there. He gets 9 SCVs, forces the base to lift. I like that he keeps his tanks alive, and he is denying this 5th base. The moment he sieges here and scans, he can kill those SCVs. These 3 tanks trying to hold that location. 15 Marines building at a time right now for Oliveira. These Marines are going to try and drop on top, but a good pullback. Oliveira's still got a nice position on the map. Maru putting on his turtle shoes right now. He starts queuing a few Liberators. Not having those extra orbitals, it does worry me. On the other hand, neither does Oliveira. Oliveira's just making planetaries on these bases. And the planetaries don't really help, right? Right now, you've got full map control. You almost wished you were a bit greedy and went for a few extra orbitals. So I especially feel on that back base, that's the one where it's like, yeah, obviously, if he swings back and gets map control, you want planetary there. But now that you're expanding in front of it, that planetary looks kind of useless. The lack of orbitals for both sides is interesting. They're all army and SCV count right now. 82 versus 89 in the favor of Maru on the worker count. That is an insane worker count on both sides, though. Double drop into the main base comes in. He's going to try and drop there. He doesn't have any boost right now. Those tanks on the low ground are going to try and bait him in. And they could actually do quite nicely. Tanks getting some big shells off. Nice angling for Oliveira. He gets a tank there. Another tank. Oh my lord. He's going to take out 3, 4, 5 siege tanks here. Beautiful play. The Libs will get rid of his 2 siege tanks, but look at that. This all allows Oliveira to push forward. One of his tanks ventures a little far north. He's going to try and stim on the planetary. Oh, I wouldn't have minded him just clicking the planetary there. I don't know about this Marine move. It feels kind of awkward. The planetary dies. He does get rid of the tanks. Oh my god. I think Maru might be dead. Maru might just be dead. I mean, he's pretty much broken at this point. He's got 3 tanks, 7 Marines versus 8 tanks, 32 Marines. Oliveira's got the entire map on his side. Maru is just going to be desperately trying to hang on, but he's on mass Viking Lib. He doesn't have any siege tanks. Viking Lib is only good if you have a lot of siege tanks. The tanks are now sieging that base. As long as Oliveira still has scans, he should be okay. The Libs are causing him some trouble, forcing the Marines forward. The Vikings just shot down 1 or 2 of his medevacs, and those Marines are struggling to heal. Can he kill this command center? That's the big question. The Vikings, and look at that, he's going to move forward with a siege tank. No scan there. That tank, is it in range? It's not. Oh, he's going to start shelling. He gets rid of 1 of Oliveira's siege tanks. Looks like he's in range of another one. Oliveira does answer with a scan. He's going to get 2 shots off, but he'll lose another siege tank. Maru, though, is back on 3 bases. His command center is in the orange. He's in a desperate position right now, and Oliveira just needs to keep macroing, and he's got this game in the bag. He's building mass command center for the orbitals. He's going to go for the Iron Bank behind this. He's got 3/3 upgrades, plus 2 air weapons. The only thing Oliveira is missing is he's only on 1 star point. Oh, he leaves a few tanks down there. That was a bit sloppy. Oliveira's actually down on siege tanks now, still way ahead on Marines, and I still think if he just like drops multiple angles, there's nothing Maru can do to defend. On the other hand, Maru still has those Vikings, so if he catches some full medevacs, then it could be okay. These turrets, remember what I said, they don't cover the edge. He could boost into the main, and Maru has no vision, no sensor towers. He's got nothing out there right now. Oliveira hitting the front with a big army. Tanks are in position. Oliveira scans and still tries to go for it with a flank of Marines on the south. Oliveira just doing crazy pushes all day today. Relentless, and Maru getting overrun. Oliveira looking very good. The SCVs are pulled off the line. but that should be a killing blow. 25 SCVs go down. Oliveira, tactical, goes in, cleans up a ton of workers, forces them off the line, clears some tanks, pulls back and says, guess what? I'm losing mostly Marines. I can replace these easily. Maru's on a couple tanks, a couple Marines. He's got 4 Ravens out. Raven, Viking, Lib. His whole army is flying units. And oh my god, a Doom drop. If that gets in the back of the main and he loses his production, he's screwed. One thing that could work for Maru is there's only 8 Marines. It's almost pure tank. And he's flying into the turrets. Oh no! He didn't go around the turrets. He's going to lose all these medevacs. And the Libs can siege right on top because there's so few Marines. He might be able to just siege right on top. That's a bit YOLO from Oliveira. That being said, Oliveira has so many bases, 82 workers, it shouldn't matter. He's got double the income right now. Any trade should be a good trade for him. He's also opening this up for future attacks. But the tanks do get cleaned up, as do the Marines there. And Maru retaking a base, but those Marines stimming in could ruin his day. Oliveira is all over this game. He started his own Raven transition. The Marines come in, they're going to force a lift, only getting a single SCV. If they can get the command center, that'll be big. But mass repair comes in. Maru saves it. The Vikings shoot down the medevacs. His Marines will be able to chase him down. He's only got 24 Marines on the map, but Oliveira has been very wasteful in a few of these fights. So he's not got a giant army. Oliveira feeling the urgency. It's Maru you're playing against. So you start to psych yourself out. Go, oh god, I got to be careful. I think the Raven transition makes no sense here for Oliveira. And the reason why is there's 11 Vikings in the sky. So by slowing things down with Ravens, you play into his hand. What Oliveira is doing is working. All he needs to do is keep making Marines, tanks, and medevacs, and he'll win this game. Going for Ravens doesn't really make sense when your opponent's on mass Viking. You need to get your own Vikings up first, then go for them. There is an argument where you can basically flank and interference matrix all the tanks without the Vikings spotting you. And then you sacrifice your Ravens, but they've already cast the spell. Marines stim in and win the game. Right now, he's up 25 Marines once again, down 4 siege tanks. Has a few more Ravens, does Mr. Oliveira. But with all those Vikings and Libs, that adds a powerful chunk of army. Army supply is very similar. Remember, Oliveira is maxed out, and he's got 40 more workers than Maru. So Maru's max will be stronger. Libs sieging up there, Marines kind of stumbling in, as are the tanks. Oliveira should definitely throw SCVs away right now, guys. Oh, Marine drop on the top. Oh, Maru losing another 10 to 15 SCVs. He's going to lose them all. Those are 3-3 Marines. SCVs can't kill 3-3 Marines. Oh, Maru's in big trouble. Here we go. Oliveira goes for the surround. Interference Matrix comes in, but that's a lot more tanks than he banked on. Oliveira pulls the trigger unnecessarily there. That was not a fight he needed to take, and that might actually give Maru a chance. Because even though Maru's economy is dead, his army is massive. He's got a 40 army supply advantage right now, and that is huge. Oh, he finds a full medevac as well. Okay, Oliveira just needs to back up and buy time right now. He is so far ahead on economy. The longer this game goes, he'll be okay. He can lose a base or two and still be ahead on economy as well. He's still trying to counter drop right now. Maru is doing a desperate counter all in. SCVs are going down in that 5th base. That's not a big deal. Losing a few SCVs is probably good. It's just crazy that Oliveira has been so wasteful. He's 6,000 resources behind. With this base advantage, you would think 6,000 resources lost extra is not that many. But he's built a lot of production, a lot of orbitals, the Ravens as well. I really don't agree with the Ravens. I think just mass Marine tank is what it's all about here. And just having the numbers, he's got to move. He's got to get around and cut off the rally. You can't let Maru reinforce through the middle of the map like this. Just hold your production with whatever you can and try to get back in with the numbers. But he's not cutting off the reinforce. Looks like Oliveira's going to go for a base trade. This one's going to get down and dirty. If Oliveira can get a few more rounds of tanks and Marines out in his main, he might be able to hold on here. The tanks are rallying out in awkward positions. His buildings are blocking. That tank has nowhere to go. That's why I like to leave those big 2-space avenues everywhere. Interference Matrix comes in, though. Oliveira gets the command center. There's very little at home. He should be able to get on the production. Meanwhile, Maru is stalled out. Problem for Oliveira is that Marine tank is not good at this sort of standoff battle. The lib count as well. 5 liberators is massive. Oliveira, what's he doing? He didn't push the production? He could have broke the production by now. I guess he's just going after the economy. And he does force Maru to send his command center and SCVs to the corner of the map. Oh my god, these liberators. These liberators are ruining Maru's day right now. Normally you can stem Marines under that, but the buildings are blocking him. And when it's 5 libs with tanks covering them, you do not want to stem on that. Trying to hide the Marines in the back. Ferrying the Marines out of the base and just rebuilding elsewhere is probably the smart thing to do. There's no reason to fight Maru. Like, you've got so much going on. But he's losing his depot. So he's having to rebuild depots and his barracks. But still having a base there, a base there, a base there, a base there. I mean, you got 4 bases. Maru has none. Maru's got no income. You've got 1,500 minerals coming in a minute. He does need to send the medevacs back, though, to save these Marines. Oh, no, he accidentally moved the Marines forward. Oliveira with a big mistake. I think he F2'd them. He could have sent the medevacs back to save some more. A lot of his production goes down. He's back down 40 army supply behind right now. There's always pressure when you're fighting Maru, because Maru knows how to knuckle down and make comebacks happen. There's a confidence when you've made as many epic comebacks as Maru has that is hard to match. Interference Matrix comes in. He's trying to break through. Finally, Interference Matrix is that last tank. Does get forwards, but he's losing a few siege tanks doing it. He's down to just 2 tanks. Going to start gunning these down. If he had a Viking, he could kill the command center and win all the buildings, but he doesn't have that. Tanks are going to remove this planetary. The depots that Oliveira rebuilt, he's not able to protect them. He's trying to mass new barracks, which is actually really nice because he does have so many command centers, but he's losing depots here. Oh, this is so weird. I mean, Maru just has such a bigger army at this point. You've got more Marines. That's your advantage. If you could get rid of these 2 medevacs, that would be so big. That's all of Maru's healing in those 2 medevacs. Maru right now is like, well, I have big army. Me have command center hidden. I'm not out as long as I just keep moving around and denying these bases, which he is so far. If Oliveira built these barracks and depots on the far side of the map, it'd be a different story. But as it is, he's only going to get a few more Marines out, and then he's supply blocked again. The tanks are sieged up. As long as the tanks are sieged, that's 12 siege tanks. You can never take this fight. As Oliveira, he's going to try to lift the barracks and float away. Vikings and Marines make quick work of all that. SCVs out here, it look like they're going to try and escape as well. Oliveira stims a few Marines to try to chase after them. They look like they do escape, though. Oliveira's still on 14 SCVs. One base was mining, but a Liberator finds it and shuts it down. Whew! I think Maru's got it. You've got no real momentum on the rebuild. It's going to take you forever with these SCVs to rebuild your depots, not to mention where do you build them. Probably hidden in the top right is the best location for now. Maru leaves this sensor tower around, which is alive, which is kind of hilarious. There's only 1 planetary left. This planetary going down is a disaster for Oliveira. He cannot rebuild right now. He tries to return a few more minerals. Gonna have to rebuild a command center from scratch. As I said, if there was a Viking, just 1 Viking, and he can kill that orbital, and he wins the game through base trade, right? Or maybe not wins, but forces Maru to build a supply depot or a refinery. Right now, Maru is getting down below 75 minerals, which means he's past the point of not being able to build another structure. If Oliveira got a starport up somewhere, got a single Viking out, he'd be chipping that command center, and Maru would have to push into him with a very immobile army of tank lib. That's where you might find some good fights. SCVs are hunting all over the map right now for Maru. He is methodically hunting down his opponent. He's going, where's your army at? Where are you, boy? I got 100 supply of Terran and I'm ready to dance. And I think what we really see here is that when you're as good at defending as Maru, it puts so much pressure on your opponent to not just get ahead, but to finish the game. He's like, oh God, I can't give him any time. But when you get overeager like that, yeah, you find some opportunities with those crazy attacks that Oliveira was doing. That got him way ahead. But at some point, he needed to take his foot off the aggression just a tiny bit and say, okay, just be a little bit more calculated. Because when you keep trading army for economy, if you're not doing lethal damage, they end up on 40 workers, maxed out with a gigantic army. You've got a way smaller army, and you're still trying to just throw units at them in bad, sloppy fights. That's when they start really kicking your butt. Oliveira, he tries to catch him, but there's so many tanks right there. Oh my God, the Marines get slaughtered, even catching him unsieged. Maru, that was an insane comeback. Let's watch that last fight one more time. I mean, this was wild. Oliveira was so far ahead, but Maru, I think winning that fight on the bottom was absolutely huge. Oliveira really needed to just slow things down. And I also do think the Ravens may have been a big misplay. In a game where they've got massive Viking lib out, you really want to stay super mobile. So you want all your supply on mass Marines. I think the trick for Oliveira, since he had mass command center, if we go back to that 18-minute mark, because I really want to show people, like, it's like 17 minutes, 18 minutes, something like that. What happened there is you've got mass orbital. You've got 6 orbitals now. You've got more that are about to make. You've got so many bases. So you want to actually say, okay, we don't need so many workers. Throw some workers away in the near future. And other than that, just stay on mass Marine tank and let yourself remax. As long as you have enough Marines, you can pick where and when the fighting happens. And when the Viking lib tank does push you, just backstab, just base trade. Always be ready for the sort of base trade maneuvers, because when you're playing Mass Marine with a few tanks and a few medevacs, you're basically playing Zerg. He's playing mostly tanks, libs, Vikings. That's basically him playing Mech Terran. So if they're a Mech Terran, they're a very slow, immobile player with one big centralized powerful army. You have the mobility. You are always going to be winning in a scenario where you don't fight into their strong point. The big mistake he made was he fought into Maru's strong point over here. He thought he had a good setup because he was flanking. But if you look at it, remember, he's already lost a bunch of units. He's way behind on army supply, even though he's got way more overall supply because of that worker differential. And he's not perfectly synced up. The Marines are a little bit too clumped. He only has a couple of interference matrices, one of which lands on a medevac. And these units kind of just, it's just not enough units for that sort of decisive maneuver. He just needed to keep backstabbing and base trading, and Maru can't split this army up. He's going to lose the base trade. And if he's got to try to push through and you just leave tanks at home, you backstab with this army of Marines, plus defend with your rally from here, slowly falling back, you're going to do really well. Arguably, if you do want to tech up, you want to get a third factory so you have more siege tank production, and you want to pump Vikings first. Once you get more Vikings than him, then you can take the slow battle. But until then, I think Marine base trade style is the better option. That's my analysis anyway. You guys let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. GG, well played.